Hi, welcome to How to D&D. I'm going to be painting a miniature today, and I'm on holiday. So this means it's fairly relaxed. I have nothing specifically prepared. I'm just going to sit down and try to chill out, and you are welcome to join me if you have some paints, brush and miniatures. By all means, sit down with me and let's have a go. Let's paint a miniature. I have picked the Slaad for today. For those of you who are unaware of what I'm painting, basically it's a toad monster. A toad monster. This is basically the deal for today. Okay. So get comfortable and by all means feel free to ask me questions. I am here for that. There is lots of D&D chat certainly available. So by all means, let's do that. And I'm going to run a poll at the same time. Hi, welcome to How to D&D. My name is Fred Weller, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Well, actually, it's my holiday, so I'm going to be painting a Red Slaad miniature, and you are welcome to join me. I am also going to be open to just chatting along with you. This is very informal. There's not an awful lot that I'm planning to sort of do. I haven't sort of sat down and done a lot of, I'm going to talk about a particular topic. I've got this miniature for my birthday. Actually, it was for Christmas. That's right. I got given this miniature for Christmas, and I've decided to paint it first. I have purchased a lot of other miniatures, but this is the one that's going to be done first. And my idea is that I'm going to sort of paint it up, and hopefully it'll look something like this, but probably not completely, because some of the things on this color scheme I don't really like. So I'm going to adjust things a little bit along the way, as you do when you're painting miniatures. That's sort of the deal. Yeah, so by all means, feel free to chat with me. I'm also going to be doing a poll. For those of you who are wondering, am I going to be running a poll? I am going to be running a poll at the same time. So I thought that would be sort of fun to do. Thank you for the super chat, Steve. Thank you for the $20. Happy New Year to you. Now, once I figure out how to launch my poll, which is currently struggling to allow me to do it, I don't know why. Have I put too many characters in somewhere? I felt like my question was fairly easy to sort of deal with here. Why is it not doing it? I don't know. This is strange. Already a technical issue. YouTube? What's going on here? I don't want to refresh, because if I refresh I might lose the blooming thing. Okay. Alright, so it doesn't want to let me launch it. Is that because I set it up beforehand? I'm getting frustrated. I feel like I might have to punch the whole thing in all over again. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Hang on. Let's just copy and paste. I will refresh, and we'll come back, and I will probably have to type the whole thing all in again, which will annoy me immensely. But yeah, exactly. All right, YouTube, you suck. All right, let's put this. At least I copied and pasted part of the thing. All right. So, what's our question? I have painted a Slaad miniature. Yeah, that's the first option there, and then the second one. Slaad Dungeon Master. Yeah, I'm talking under my breath. That's exactly right. I'm getting my options in here. All right. I have fought Slaad. Right. Okay. That's good. And then the last one. I have no experience with Slaad. All right, that should just about cover all of the options, and it still won't let me launch it for some weird reason. YouTube has decided to not like me today. I don't know why. If I put too many options in here, DM. Right, let's just try that one. Maybe that's too long. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I've put too many characters in there. My gosh. If I'd known it was as simple as that. It's frustrating. Okay. All right, let's get some painting done. Oh my God, after all of that, after trying to get this thing going. Hi, Jared, how's it going? Can you save these? Yeah, look, so Jared, if you were unaware, I'm not hiding them, okay? I know in the past I have hidden my live streams on painting miniatures. I'm not going to hide them, so you don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to talk, just comment on Steve's bit, and then we're going to get going, okay? How's it going, Joe? I can see Joe's here, and I can see Scott's here. Hope this is enjoyable for you and your audience. I hope it is. I think it will be. I usually have a pretty good time doing these sort of things. OTS, been a pleasure to get to know you a little through your videos. Cool. Well, also, remember, I'm often live, so you get to actually interact with me if you get a chance. And I have been toying with another concept, which Eric from Fry Minis has sort of suggested, and that is Discord. So you guys can sort of talk to me, video chat. I don't know when they'll do that, and I don't know if I will do that, but it's quite possible it might happen. So I don't know how many people would want to hang out with me, but we'll see. And I appreciate your guidance to be flexible, both as a DM and a player. Absolutely. That's the way. It's all about flexibility. So I'm running a poll, so feel free to comment on the poll while I do this. Yeah, not a problem, Jared. It's going to be still here, so you don't have to worry. I wouldn't say Painter Fred today. I'm going to try. Steve, I'm quite excited. I play my cleric Anubis tonight, and this will certainly get me into the mood. Oh, I'm level 9. I'm level 4, and I'm a player right now in my own home game. Okay, so this miniature, just to give you an idea very quickly about what's been going on with it for me. Frankly, I found it took me longer than I liked to actually clean off the mold lines. They're not the worst mold lines I've ever seen on a miniature, but I have to say that the mold lines on the talons and the fingers, not so much the hands, but the fingers and the talons, are a pain in the butt. They annoyed me. There are places I cannot reach, even with my needle files, and I'm not going to risk damaging it. So I did the best I could with what I had in terms of time. So when you get this thing, not the hardest thing, but it takes longer than you might expect to clean off the mold lines, and definitely the fingers and the talons or claws are the biggest hassle as far as I was concerned. Can you make these painting videos available to watch later? Absolutely, and I'll put them all in a playlist. I know some streamers get discarded, on the channels. Although what they do is they tend to unlist them and hide them. Hi, Big Kid. How's it going? Question: Do you have technical issues on every live stream? No, not every single one of them. I've been doing it a long time. Sometimes it's just a lot of setup. That's the issue. Okay, so let's start off. I've decided to do a dark to lighter color approach to this. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to use Vallejo black, and all of the paints that I use and the colors I use are in the description. I don't have the conversions for the Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments. That's the Monsters paint set. I don't have the conversions over to the Armor Painter colors. But basically, Nolzur's is just Army Painter paints. So they're nothing. It's not like you couldn't get them. You wouldn't even have to use them. You probably already have those paints if you're using Army Painter. Okay, so I'm going to go black. I don't normally go black with everything, but in this case, I was trying to decide what was the best route, and I'm going to use black in this case. Just need to get this thing onto here. I didn't put the base on. I decided I would paint it without the base, just because I feel like the base is just a bit big and might just get in the way, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, we'll just we'll avoid messing around with that sort of thing, okay, just to make things a little bit easier. And I'll get my brush and wet that down. There's an awful lot hanging around me. You need to have a lot of desk space if you're going to do painting live stream. Oops, that's the pen gone. I went shopping today, by the way. No, yesterday, and I haven't been in a hobby store for so long, and now I'm not going to water it down because I don't think I'm going to need to. I think that's thin enough. And I need to be quick. Unfortunately, it's very, very hot in New Zealand, and therefore everything is going to paint. The paint is going to dry super fast. I may wind up having some problems with the paint job. We'll see how we go. You never know. So yeah, I haven't been to a hobby store in so long. And so I bought way too many miniatures. So for those of you who are hoping I was going to do more than just a Red Slaad, yeah, I have way too many. There's no way I can get them all done on my holiday. So that means that when I do another holiday break, which will probably be 4 months from now after this one, it's back to painting again. Oh dear. All right. Yes. The Caesar salad. Yes, the Caesar salad is Caesar Slaad. That's right, the Caesar Slaad. Absolutely. No problem, Jared. So, like many YouTubers, I had been informed by people who I thought were very knowledgeable that actually the best route was to hide live streams, because usually live streams people don't watch right to the end, and that's true. But people who are usually 90% of my subscribers watch my live streams, and that's a big percentage. And those are the people I actually want to accommodate, because they are here for a very particular reason. They're here for me, and to have a chat, and to hang out, and that's all cool. That's exactly what we want. And painters watch a lot. They will go right to the end. So it makes perfect sense to not be hiding them. It's taking me a long time to realize this fact. Okay? It's taken me way too long, but I now understand. What's that, big kid? I've been painting a lot recently, but right now? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I can understand that. I imagine lockdowns would be part and parcel of that problem, wouldn't it? This is like, oh, I can't do anything else. Well, I guess I'm stuck at home. I guess I'll do some painting. And a lot of people aren't playing, so they've got to find the other hobby, right? Which is often painting. What's that? Painting on a group video chat would be awesome. We could each show our work. Yeah, that's exactly what Eric does. Now, for those of you who don't know Fry Minis or Eric, he's got a very... I do hang out in his Discord, but I probably won't do so, because usually it's today, and I want to go to the beach. So after I've done this, I'm going to go to the beach. Sorry, I'm on holiday. And so I would normally hang out in his Discord, and that would be, I don't know, what's essentially the time. I think for New Zealand time, it's like 4 p.m. New Zealand daylight time. And if you're in, is it the East Coast? I think it's like 9 p.m. So that's Eastern Standard Time now. You guys aren't in daylight time right now, so Eastern Standard Time, it's like 9 p.m. So I often will hang out with him and his painting buddies, and this is a very new thing for me. I've only just started doing it. But when I saw what he was doing, I was like, oh, Eric, you got something here. That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I couldn't live stream and do it. It wouldn't make a lot of, it would not work, not at all. But also too, I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes where I'm just sort of editing and researching and stuff like that. So there's an opportunity to sort of open it up, possibly. I do have a Discord, I just haven't done anything with it, and I certainly haven't told anybody about it until now, essentially. I don't know that I will share it yet. We'll see how we go. What's that, Jared? I'm very scared of layering and using washes. Yeah. If you're going to use a wash, make sure the miniature's completely dry, all the paint's dry, because I have had them bleed. I don't know that I've used washes a lot, and I mean, the problem with a wash is you've got to move the paint around. You just can't just wash the thing and just run all the wash over it and just leave it. Sometimes you actually have to push the wash around. So there's a little bit of skill, but not quite as much as other techniques. And I'm no expert, okay? That's my brother, David. David Bailey does like super impressive stuff. And my brother Sam Wheeler, he is, I know they got different surnames, don't freak out. He's doing a lot of 3D printing under my mum's house. Not that I want to get involved in 3D printing. The guys have already told me how expensive it is to actually run that operation under the house, and it's stupidly expensive. There's no way I would save money. So clearly 3D printing in New Zealand is not an option at this present time. But they are conducting their little research projects and doing all sorts of things. I think my brother's doing a lot of Marvel characters right now. I have tried to convince him to come over here and paint on my channel and hang out with you guys. But, guys and gals, he just won't do it. I just can't get him to do it. It just won't happen. I don't know what can I say. I've been trying to get him to set up a YouTube channel as well, but he's not doing that either. Anyway, blah blah. Right, back to chat. Where are we? I suck at layering, but washes are painting on easy mode. Yeah, big kid. Yeah, well, that's the whole point of the washes, wasn't it? Was to, particularly if, now what was I saw a technique being used the other day. I don't know that I've seen it before, called black outlining. So where you wash, you thin down your black paint, and then you paint it into the crevices, because the details aren't strong enough, and you could do that with this miniature, strong enough to actually allow for the paint to go into the crevices. So you actually paint it in as a black outlining. I'd never heard of it before, but then again, I'm not really up with the play with that sort of thing. That's just dear, holy shit. Sorry, I didn't realize there was 14, 15, 13 people in here for a painting. Seriously? Holy Toledo. All right, well, I did advertise it in advance. Yes, I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, probably the same time. If it rains, you'll probably have to put up with me twice. Well, we'll see how we go. Anyway, so yes, the black outlining idea really sort of seemed like a very cool idea. I'm not going to do that myself. I'm going to go with the black here, and then I'm going to go over again with a darkish brown. Well, actually kind of like a reddy brown to get my red done. I know there are a couple of approaches when you're dealing with red. You can go just straight with the red on, or you can go white and then red, or you can go black and then sort of put your other color in after. But I'm going to try what I know, which is really I'm just gonna whack it on pretty fast and then dry brush in and see how that works. Right now I'm just using a great huge hoary old brush. This is not a fancy brush, by the way. It was already primed, by the way. The Nolzur's miniatures are already primed. You do, if you're filing, you do wind up losing some of the primer, but it didn't lose too much when I was doing this one, so I didn't wind up having to sort of re-prime, which I have done in the past. Right, my eyes aren't great, but I think I've got it all. Let's just do a cursory check. The talons will be the problem. Oh, the arm there, I can see there's a bit of, I missed on the arm. And did I get it? I think I did. Ha ha! There we go. Inside the talons. Look, I know already that painting these talons, these fingers, are going to be a pain because they're in such an awkward position that there's no easy way to access them. I mean, certainly not with a great huge brush like I've got right now, but yeah. Anyway, so while I leave their black to dry, and it will dry extremely quickly because I'm going to put it, should I put it in the sun? I could put it in the sun. My sun right here is like super duper strong, so that might actually work. And while I chat, maybe I should show you some of the miniatures that I purchased, because I know some of you might be interested. How to D&D. Do you remember or ever run the old first edition campaign module Greyhawk, Castle Greyhawk? I ran a few Slaad in that. Okay. Russian Slaad dressing was when I remember. Oh, okay. No, I haven't. I have run older Dungeons and Dragons adventures like Keep on the Borderlands and Isle of Dread. But I didn't do that with the original basic Dungeons and Dragons. To be clear, Steve, if you're wondering if I was using basic or even the original Dungeons and Dragons, no. What's that, Jared? I feel like my washes come out looking like the colour coffee stains. Coffee stains. Well, I mean, yeah. No, the black that I put on is just me getting in the dark colour first, okay? I'm not suggesting that this is the way you do it. Just make myself clear. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and while I'm looking through the chat, I'm going to show you what I bought. And while I'm waiting for my miniature to dry, which it will because it's in the sun, and because this is essentially what I do is we hang out and talk about stuff, right? There is going to be some painting going on. So how do I do this without making a huge mess? First thing, so I bought a Venom Troll. I've actually used a Venom Troll in my game. And so I didn't actually have the miniature at the time though. So this might be fun to paint. I feel like it's not beyond my level of skill. What's that? Oh, Emilio Garcia. How's it going? Epic. Time to think about the possibilities. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to painting this. I don't know if that'll be the next one I paint. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to have to drop these on the ground, unfortunately. The next one I got was a Yuan-Ti Anathemia. Anthemia? Oh, God. Dungeons and Dragons names. Seriously? They're going to make them easier. This is just ridiculous. Sometimes this thing, I know there's a big price tag in the way. This thing is basically snakes on a curled snake body. Like Hydra snake, basically. Yes, that's it. Let's go with it's Hydra snake. So I got one of those. Artists trying to be extra critical of their work, usually no problem, man. No, well, I'm always critical of something. Often other people's work rather than my own, which isn't rather entertaining. How do you guys possibly tolerate that? I don't know. Hello, Pale Rider. What do you got here? When you said you were going to paint, I thought you meant on canvas. No, that's my brother. Sam does canvas, and I think my brother David, he's been doing a lot of pencil work, and he paints a lot of miniatures. So this, I am the Eidolon. This is the sacred statue, possessed sacred statue. Now, some of you will recognize this miniature because it was on one of the front covers of some of the early books, or one of the early books. Someone in the chat, I'm sure, will be able to tell me exactly which book it was on. I had to get this. Like, I saw it and I was like, oh, I can't turn it away. Man, it is a problem. If you do not go into a game store or a hobby store for a long time and then you go in there with $200, I spent more than $200. I wish I'd taken more. It is not a good thing. Clearly, the little child just comes out in you. Certainly for me it did. Emilio, what do you got here? The power of light, hardened resins. Yes, if only I could make the resin yourself for 3D printing. Yeah, well, New Zealand, I've discovered it's really expensive for the resins. Now, how are we drying? Are we drying properly? Does it look like it's all? Yeah, I knew it. New Zealand sun, no ozone layer, super hot, super nasty on your skin. It is dry, so we can continue painting. What the hell? That didn't take too long. You hung around for almost half an hour for me to paint it black. Like, what are we going to go next with? I think I'm going to go with a lightish... no, I'm going to go with this brown. This is a Nolzur's brown. This is the Owlbear brown, so I'm going to go with that. I'm probably going to put this on with a dry brush. Do I want to put it on with a dry brush? No, I don't. No, I'm not. I'm going to just go on with just a shitty old brush. Oops. If you thought I was going to say like nice things and I wasn't going to come out with yeah, okay. That's me. That's on me. I did that. Agent Smith, Happy New Year. How's it going? Glad to see me. Yes, I will. Look, the problem is with all the changes on YouTube, I just can't make videos the way I used to, which was much more efficient and easier for me. Now YouTube has made it harder. so as a result, I just don't have time. So I spend all of my time on my days off sorting out editing stuff. And with the Dungeon Master Round Table, it takes time to edit all that stuff down. Particularly if people go off track, and heck, I go off track. Can you imagine what it's like when I have to contend with Josiah, Dungeon Dad, AJ Pickett, God, even Esper the Bard? Yeah, like, it's not easy. And there are times. There was somebody else too. Yeah, well, who was it? Falked. Oh, jeez. Core blimey. Editing those guys is hard. They go all over the place. All right, so I am going to put this on pretty quick. It's not going to be a sort of try to make it a solid brown. It is just to help me put my red on and to sort of give the miniature a kind of a browny look. So it's going to be a very thin layer, this one. And I know you're going to like, why did I not thin it down? Look, I've honestly, every time I've used these paints, I've found that the Nolzur's paints just don't need to be thinned down. And from all reports that I've seen on other channels who have used these, they've kind of had a similar experience. So, but if I was using Vallejo or I was using Citadel paints, they tend to require thinning. But these Nolzur's paints, they're already pretty thin as it is, so I just don't think there's much point. Hit the like button. Yeah, thank you, Pale Rider. Yeah, do that. Absolutely. Now, we'll come back to looking at what miniatures I purchased, but I'm going to get this brown on. Yeah, Army Painter paints. A lot of people really like them. I know my brother seems to prefer Vallejo. It might be simply because it's easier to get it cheaper in New Zealand. I don't know what it's like in other countries, but I know that he buys in bulk. What did he say? I think he buys it in a 75 milliliter bottle, and because he uses an airbrush and he paints a lot of miniatures, far more than I do, he goes through it pretty quickly. So he said that it's like the best way to buy the paint was to buy it in the big bottles, and he tends to get the Vallejo. He may have changed how he does things, but I don't think he has. He also does a lot of car miniatures too, which is, man, you should see his cars. They're really impressive. Anyway, back to the Slaad. I have that old player's manual. That's right. It was on the player's manual. Now, which version of the game? Oh, look, I felt really bad after I realized, to be fair, some of the polls that I've been putting up on the channel's community page are testing the waters for videos coming. So for those of you who want to know what's going on, I plan to do a Who Created Dungeons and Dragons video, and it is going to be quite a long one, and it will also cover some of the history of Dungeons and Dragons. And I've got AJ Pickett, Dungeon Dad, that's Josiah. I've got Wally DM. I've got Flutes and Dice. Not Flutes and Dice. Flutes and Loots. That's Jordan. You may not have heard of him before. And then I've also got Esper the Bard, I believe. I'm just waiting on the final confirmation from him. And we're going to sit down for 2 or 3 hours and talk about the topic. And this is sort of preempting to sort of see where people's... I don't think a lot of people actually know much about the history of Dungeons and Dragons, or actually who created Dungeons and Dragons. and who was involved in the process. So it's not that simple. It's actually quite complicated. I feel really bad for putting up a poll, which I know a lot of people will just struggle with. And I don't actually expect a lot of people to respond to it, frankly, because they might feel stupid, or just have no idea. Right, I'm going to leave that in the sun. It's going to do some drying. Come on, you. You know you want to stay there. Is it going to stay there? Yeah. Okay, right. So, back to the chat, and Joe, I'm getting to you. I did see your comment. I'm just I'm just doing my thing. So after this, we're going to go with the Cambion Crimson. I'm going to do Cambion Crimson after this. Is it Cambion Crimson, or is I'm going the Kobold Red? No, it's the Kobold Red will be next. Okay, all right. So clean out my brush, and I'll show you some of these other miniatures that I purchased at the game store. Yes, we are painting, but we've got to wait for layers of paint to dry, and since I'm not painting 2 miniatures at the same time, bad me. What you could do, for any of you who are really keen to hang out with me on Discord, and you have a webcam and a microphone, tell me in the chat, because it's the surest way to get me to actually sort it out and make it happen, and then advertise it so people know where to find it. If you really want to do that while I'm doing my YouTube stuff, then that's it. I can make that happen. Okay, right. Oh, what's this? Yep. The Old Player's Handbook. Understood, Fred. Thanks for all of you do. No problems, Agent Smith. Okay, I just picked up some really cool cards for random things like, what's this? Good and bad luck, outcomes, curious treasures, and fumble searches. So, are we going to see some videos on these, mate? Are we going to see some videos? Yes, these are flumps. For those of you who are wondering, what the heck did he just put down? I couldn't help myself. They're small. And I hate painting small miniatures because I just can't do the fine detail. But I couldn't help myself, so I bought them. Stupid. I mean, they're going to be super. I'm not going to make this complicated. Flumps are going to be very, very simple. So are we going to see some videos, Joe? Come on, Overboard DM. I know you do videos. Have you got the time? I need to see Hero Quest, man. I need to see the new Hero Quest as well. All right, so this is going to get done at some point. I don't know when. Emilio, what do you got here? The creation of the genesis of D&D. I love video games, and this will be news to me about Gary and Cask. Now, to be fair, when I do, it'll be a Dungeon Master Roundtable, which means it will be long. It'll be really long. If you take Dungeon Dad, AJ Pickett, and Esper the Bard, and you stick them in the same place with 3 other people, like there's 6 in the panel, potentially. Hopefully my internet doesn't crash. It's going to be a very involved discussion. Okay, this is the Beholder Zombie. I do actually have a Beholder Zombie miniature from many years ago, but I looked at it and I was thinking, I don't really need another miniature that's a Beholder, but shit, I'll get it. Again, swearing. Oh, I apologize. Now you guys are going to laugh when you see this. I know it's stupid, but I got it anyway. At least I did not get the gelatinous cube. Who in the heck, in their right mind, needs to paint the gelatinous cube? I got a black pudding. Why did I get a black pudding? I'm going to explain. I'm going to paint the black pudding because I think I made a black pudding, but I can't find the black pudding that I made from years back. And I've got a video that is half finished that talks about the black pudding and monster tactics for the black pudding. And somebody helped me edit it, and I never finished it because for some strange reason I was stupid and failed to switch my camera over and record the bit that he needed. So he only got the first couple of minutes or first few seconds of the intro, and because I didn't shift over to the camera while I was doing it, he never got any of that footage. And I didn't have that footage recorded. So I ballsed it up like super bad. So I might have to actually do and fix that problem. And this miniature will mean I finally have a black pudding. So you might have to deal with me painting one of these at some point and talking about it. Anyway. How is my miniature drying? It is drying slower. Oh no, the back is not too bad. The sun is getting at the back of that. Tacky dry, tacky dry. This is because the heat of the sun in New Zealand, it's just so humid here right now. So black pudding, for those of you who are wondering. Why? Because I need to finish a video that I've got sitting in the archive. I like the polls. All right. If you don't know the answer, you can scroll through the comments and see what people think. Yeah, that's true. And I was hoping that people would see what other people would say. I knew there were lots of very knowledgeable individuals. It is not simple process. Okay, so this is the stone golem that I purchased. Why did I get a stone golem? I think I already have a stone golem, but I kind of liked this stone golem, and I went bananas. Okay, out of control. It does happen to everybody. It certainly happened to me that day. I hadn't been in a game store for a long time. What's this? D&D kinda accidentally invented RPG games with hours of character building. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Crazy myths have always been. Look, yeah, there is a lot of myth around how Dungeons and Dragons was created, and it's to be expected, because a lot of people who were involved in that, they're not alive anymore. They're gone. You know, we've lost them. This is a cloaker. I don't actually have a cloaker. I am amazed at how large. This is for a miniature. This is pretty cool. And I've used a cloaker before. It was fun. Will I get to use it again? Look, I don't like the stat block for the cloaker. It got absolutely pummeled by my party. Yes, I used it to the appropriate level. I'm not completely new. Anyway, this is the ogre zombie. Overboard Den, what do you got here? I haven't done a video in a long time. I need to get back into the swing of things. That's right, Joe, you do. And Joe, you need to get yourself set up and do some live streams. Because seriously, doing stuff live and recording with other people, it's really nerve-wracking if you've never done that sort of thing before. I've had a couple of people from other channels who had never done it before, and they just wigged out. And so it's like, oh dear. Oh dear. Things looked all right for a little while until things did not go well. And I don't want people to feel like they are foolish when they jump into these tables with a whole lot of people that they might be watching on YouTube. There's some big people involved, so, and small people, but yeah, it's so this is going to get done. I've got one of these, and it looks so similar, but this one I think is better, frankly. How's my miniature drying? Is my miniature dried yet? Yeah, I think it has. All right, so we're going to go, and I'm going to hit this with, now, was it going to be the, it's going to be, no, it's going to be this. It's the Kobold Red. So, back to painting. Give it a shake, give it a shake. The other AD&D, or Advanced Dungeons & Dragons player manual, had the white wizard from the action figures on the cover. Oh, right, okay. Hi, Raymond, how's it going? We're here to just for the news. Was it Sealand accent? Really? Is that what you're here for? Is that what you're after? Do you think it's going to be worth your time? I don't know that it will. All right. Okay. Scummy brush again, for those of you who are wondering. I am going to have to make sure that it is has not got too much water on it, because the thinning down on these paints just doesn't seem to be a good idea at all. Okay, so we're now starting to get our color in, and I'm just going to smash it. I'm going to wash the thing, don't worry. I hate painting red onto a miniature. It always requires so many coats, and so I'm hoping that if I do it, if I go black, brown, and then a dark, really dark browny red, that'll make it easier for me to get the red going on this thing. It's not guaranteed, obviously. Gosh, is that KSN? Casnium? Okay, Casnium. KSNMG. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. No idea what you're trying to say. Okay, let's keep going. Let's get at least our basic color on. Don't want to be doing this forever, do we? Okay, so this is the third color that's gone onto our miniature. And it's going on all right. Yep, I was right to make sure I get rid of all of the water off the brush. It actually, the water on the brush, and it wasn't that much, actually thinned down the paint so much it was making the brown quite see-through. Would you believe it? Now they put a thinner in these paints to help them flow, don't they? Oh gosh, what's the name of that stuff? Oh, New Zealand accent, New Zealand. Dear. Alright. I don't really want to get the talons, but it's kind of a bit hard not to. Right, so this is the leg. Sorry if I move the miniature too far out of frame, you let me know, and I will sort that problem out, okay? We've got to be moving fast. So, I don't know how much people know about the Slaad, but they are a toad-like sort of, I wouldn't even say demon, but they are chaos beasts. They're chaos creatures. They come from the chaos that is, well, I mean, limbo, basically, isn't it? They've got no formal hierarchy, so there's no sort of structure to them. A very basic creature. I don't know that it's that. There's something else. I think there's something else they put in the paint to actually help thin it out so that it lasts longer. There's a product. I cannot remember exactly what it is. A lot of paints do this, but it depends on how much they put in. I think with the Nolzur's range, they may have put in a slightly more than the army painter paints. And that's probably what's going on in this case. Yeah, maybe that's it. For acrylic paint, I use the matte medium to thin out the paint. Oh, okay. Yeah, medium. That's what it is. Thank you. Thank you, Pale Rider. I knew somebody would know. It's medium. They put so much medium in the Nolzur's range that you really do not need to water the paints down. That's what's going on. Oh, man, I knew somebody would have the answer. Right, if I can actually get into this hand, this is the problem. This hand's going to be impossible. Even with a small brush, it might be a bit easier, obviously, but what a pain. It's like they've put the claws, and the claws aren't even in a sort of in a menacing way. It's like, oh, I'm showing you my claws? Not really. Spread those little suckers. Are they going to be even? Are they safer by curling them up? Not really. Just making it harder to get at. Dear. All right. So have I put enough paint on? I'm going to put more on the back and the big areas where I know I want the red to sort of show up. It's not so much of a problem in other areas, but the big areas like the stomach and the back, we need to make sure we've got plenty there. I think. Yeah. Okay. All right. So. This stuff is drying even faster, man. The room is turning into an oven. All right, so stick that in the sun. Oops, I'll put it over here. My son is moving closer to me. Oh, okay. Bear with me. I knew my son would move. I'm going to do a funny little trick. It's called Fred is going to hide what he's doing and then run around and put a thing up. So I'm not gone. I'm just up to mischief. Yeah, this is a good time not to be seeing what's going on. I can tell you now. because I now have to stand on my desk. You'd see my foot otherwise, and then I've got to put my feet between the miniatures and the dice and all the other bits and pieces on my desk, and then move that around. I thought I would be able to get away with not having to use this. This is probably going to make it a little bit darker when you're looking at the miniature too, because you're going to lose light. And I can, oh, there's that fly I was trying to kill before. Come here, you little shit. Okay, all right. There, all right, so, okay. Bear with me, I'm moving back into position. I'm old. I've got to be careful, move slow. Don't hurt myself. Okay, all right. Let's see. There we are. We're back to the screen. I guess while I wait for my miniature to dry, which is going to dry much slower than before now, and since I don't have the sun, the benefit of the sun, it won't be much point putting it over to the side, will it? Anyway, we are waiting for it to dry, and I think I got it sorted out. At least the light won't wash out everything now. Right, now, what's that to me now? Brilliant. I learned these all sorts of awesome oils that exist. Oh, well, that's nice. Cool. All right, so while we're waiting for this thing to dry, because it is drying, but it's going to dry slow, so I'm going to put it close to the lamp. Problem is these lamps, they're specifically purchased, the bulbs themselves, so they don't generate a lot of heat. Otherwise, I cook. So they're not going to dry as fast as I would like. Oh, there's little hairs sticking off it. Oh, it's the old brush. Don't stick on there. All right, move that over there. Okay, I'll show you some of these miniatures while we're waiting for it to dry. Okay. Oops, that's not what you want to see. Now put that away. Okay, so this is another one that I grabbed. Ankheg. I do have an Ankheg miniature, but this was such a cool looking miniature, and I know it's going to give me trouble. When you look at all the little pieces that are in the way of each other, it's going to be complete sod to paint, for sure. I'm absolutely convinced that this will be very difficult to paint. But anyway, not finished. No, I bought way too much stuff. I also got myself a Red Slaad, which is a spellcaster. And this thing is probably going to cause me a lot of grief because there's lots of little bits on it. So it's going to be very interesting actually trying to paint that thing. And then the big baby. It's not really a baby. This thing is, well, can you see it? It's a dire troll. Now, don't freak out by looking at the prices on these miniatures, because remember, I'm in New Zealand, okay? I'm not in the United States, I'm not in the UK. It's New Zealand money, which in your country is worth nothing, okay? So, and everything has to be shipped to New Zealand. And how far away am I? Like, a long way away. So shipping costs have like tripled or quadrupled. So everything is significantly more expensive than it ever was before, which is, it sucks, but it's just a reality that I have to live with and everybody else does. So if you want anything, it's going to cost more. And miniatures are one of those things that are a lot more expensive now. Okay, the good news is the office is turned into an oven and the paint is mostly drying so quickly as a result of that as I sweat. So we're going to move on to the next color and get this going. Now I'm going to use a dry brush this time rather than just go with a heavy old whack the paint on sort of job. We're going to start going into colors, and I'm going to sort of because I want to leave some darkness in it without just having to do that with a wash. So put that brush away. So I'm going to use a dry brush, which means I need to have a piece of paper somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Yes, the big bug thing, exactly. That's a big bug thing. Right, so if I put that there, I put that there, put the miniature there, and get my paint, select it. Where is it? This is the one I want. This is Cambion Crimson, which is probably not, it's still a dark red. So yes, back to the Slaad. So Slaad have got this very strange way of operating where really the weaker obey the stronger. If the strong Slaad, anything that's stronger than you, is the one that's the boss. And if you don't like it that way, that's fine, but you get annihilated, or you wind up getting killed. I mean, you get killed. That's it. They just butcher them. They don't care. You know, they're not worried about there not being enough Slaad, because they'll just make more. You know, it's not a problem. It's never been a problem. Yeah, so Slaadi are like from the ever-changing chaos of Limbo, which is a very strange place. And I don't actually know that much about it. I know that, gosh, does AJ have a lot of stuff on that? I don't remember if he has talked that much about Limbo. He may have. I do think there was one video, but I don't know if it was called Limbo as such. What's that? Raymond, don't sweat. It's thin. It thins out the paint. Yeah, well, that's... All right, so we're going to do some dry brushing with this red and see if we can sort of pick everything out. I don't know if it's going to work. I always hate using red, as I've said, because I feel like red is... Now, I don't want to do... this is going to be quite heavy on the dry brush, rather than your normal sort of like not very much. So let's just see if it works on the back, because the back can be heavy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that is just not going to work. I can see it almost immediately. It's not going to work. I am actually going to have to, because it's just not a dark. It's just not a bright enough red. So I'm going to have to change my plan. Talk about technical issues and problems as you're painting. These are the sorts of things I'm sure you guys have already figured out. I do have a backup red if need be, but it's not Army Painter and it's not Nolzur's. So I'll dry off that dry brush, put that over there, and I'm going to return to just the heavy shit brush basically. Oh, did it again. Okay, and put that over there. So because the Slaadi come from the Limbo, now how did that happen? Well, it's funny you should ask, because I know you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you anyway. AJ explores Limbo, I think. It is in a video. I was pretty sure he did. And I do remember him, I swear I remember him talking about the topic when we were doing something else. But he talks about so many things, it's hard to sort of keep up. And this paint, as I'm painting it on, it's literally almost drying on the brush. Like that's not a good sign. But we'll bear up and deal with it. I'm going to make sure I keep the miniature as close to the camera as possible, so that you can see what's going on. I am definitely going to have to use a different Reddit, and I'm going to need a lot more paint. That's just not going to work, is it? Okay. I'm surprised that my paint has not created bigger problems. Heavy what brush? This is a heavy, old, cheap $2 shop brush, basically, where you buy like a pack. This is nothing particularly exciting. So yeah, back to the Slaadi and how they came about in Limbo. So the Primus Overlord of the Modrons decided to create like this gigantic geometric complex or stone, which I think is called, now it's called, I think it's the spawning stone, but originally it was supposed to be like a stone of lore, and it had all of the energy of lore and powered by lore, and it was supposed to sort of bring order to what is the chaos of Limbo. Unfortunately for the Primus of the Modrons, it did not work, and instead he made it worse. Made it significantly worse. I don't know that I don't know that the Primus has actually acknowledged that he did screw up. In fact, I think that would be unlikely that a Primus would ever consider thinking that they have ever screwed up. But they definitely, I think it's considered a screw up in this case. So what had happened is the stone was drifting in Limbo, and as a product of that, it started to absorb the chaotic energy of Limbo, And then once it absorbed enough of that chaotic energy, these Slaadi spawned from this gigantic stone. It just came about, these horrific tadpole frog toad-like creatures with really only one bent, which is to create chaos. Not necessarily evil, but just chaos. Some Slaad are apparently evil, and some are just chaotic in what they do. You just don't know what they're going to get up to. Okay, so this is definitely working better, and I feel like I probably could have done this with just applying 3 coats of red, but I haven't. What a new approach, Fred. Anyway. But then again, I am not worrying about getting every little nook and cranny, because I knew I was going to have trouble seeing what's going on anyway. So this is part of my rationale, is if I miss a bit, and it doesn't matter. Because it'll be hidden by the darker colours, which will make sense that they're there. Okay, right, so I'm going to use some more of that paint. I'm going to brush off some of this so it'll dry a bit faster. Right, so a bit more of this. So yeah, after the Overlord Primus of the Modrons balls things up, Slaadi have basically been warring against Modrons. They loathe them, they don't like them. Modrons don't like anything that's chaotic, so they don't like each other, apparently. That's how it is. And as a result of that, we now learn the true horror of the Slaad, which is how they reproduce. They implant eggs inside their host. Very alien of them, isn't it? And I'm not suggesting that they got the idea from the Alien movie at all, but it's kind of a very cool idea, a horrific idea, because seriously, who would want to have a tadpole implanted in you that then grows into these horrible toad-like creatures? If you are playing a game and it's happened to your character, I can understand you being upset. But that I'm not saying that shouldn't happen, because it's Dungeons and Dragons and anything can happen. Right, so. But yeah, very, very cool. And there's another way that they can actually reproduce, and that is they can infect their host with the chaos. It's not page, it's phage. PH, phage. I think it's called phage. And it transforms you. It's like a transformative disease that you get from Slaad. And it changes the way you look. And you wind up becoming one of them, which is a terrifying concept. Again, not so bad as having something growing in you, but still pretty bad if you ask me. And this is why I love the idea of the monster, but I've never really used them that much. I have had them in games, but I've never had a chance to implant another character with their tadpoles, which I feel kind of robbed. And the fact that that option has never arisen for me, unfortunately. Anyway, so yes, that's how they reproduce. And their terrifying purpose is to create chaos. And there's quite a few of them. The Slaad are like M&Ms. They come in different colours. You get red, blue, green, grey, and death. So grey, death is obviously black. So yes, when you're picking through your M&Ms, your Slaadi M&Ms, make sure to throw out the black ones. They're bad. They're really bad. Okay, so I think that red has probably done its dash. I can't see diddly squat because my eyes are old, but I think we got that covered. Yeah, and the interesting thing is that depending on the Slaad colour, they don't reproduce themselves. So Red Slaad don't make, they don't make another Red Slaad, which is kind of weird. They actually reproduce and make Green Slaad and what's the other one? I think it's the Blue Slaad. And to become to get a Grey Slaad, I think they actually transform from the blue and the green into them as they get more powerful and as they get older. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. And I am going to have to grab a different red to help bring this out. I still feel like it makes sense for this to have a deep red to it. Not necessarily a hugely deep red, but deep enough. How are we doing with our poll, by the way, while I'm here? We've got 21 people. I have no experience with the Slaad. Man, there's a lot of people showed up and didn't know anything about the Slaad, which I totally understand, man. I mean, they don't get used that often. And I think partly because they are so terrifying in their nature. Okay, so now I was looking for, let that dry. I was looking for my next color, which is over in my box here. That does not look like a really good idea. That red looks so orangey, flat red. Ooh, I don't know about that. I really don't like that idea at all. I might use it as a dry brush option, but that's probably about it. I don't think that should be used for anything else. Why does it look that way? Is it just the lighting in here? It could be that. It might well be what's going on. Oh, we're hitting the time. We're off over the time. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can't. I really want to try to bring out some of the detail in this thing, but I'm not entirely sure that the paint has dried sufficiently to make that happen. It's still drying pretty fast. All right. So let's. Do I really? How much difference is there in this? This is a very yellow. That is a slightly darker looking orange, not yellow, orange. Do I use the Vallejo? Oh man. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's some choices. Do I use Rust Monster for my highlight to bring out the detail, or do I use the Vallejo flat red? I don't really know exactly which is the best one. I am inclined to use the flat red, but who knows if it'll work out. I don't know that you can necessarily see the color and the distinction in the colors that much, but if anybody has any strong feelings about it, now's the time to let me know, because I'm going to make a choice very shortly. I need to drink some water because I'm losing my voice. And yes, I will be back tomorrow to paint the Slaad and the details. That's all the finer bits and pieces on the little sucker. I think everybody's busy painting. That's what it is. I should have guessed. Once you get, it's like, do you want to hang out and do some painting? They're all concentrating on their own stuff. All right, okay. I'm picking the darker one because I can go lighter if I really want to. That's my theory. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. All right, so that, paper towel, and let's see if we can bring out some of the details with this color before I close it up. I don't know that it's going to work, but you never know until you try, right? You've got to try. Here we go. I might have to use both, actually. I'm just going to be careful about how I do this. There's a lot of paint, isn't it? All right. Okay. Let's stroke that just a little bit. I think that's got it. Okay, so I'm going to try a big area where there's hardly any sort of shape to it and see what happens. Okay, that's all right. I think that was the right place to start too. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad. Okay, and then we're across there. We'll just be systematic about this. And then across the hands. Maybe I got it a bit high on the brush there. Let's try that, get that off a bit more. And then work my way along here. There's the legs. Legs, 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 back of the legs, back of the legs. Alright, don't you worry, I'm going to turn around. And then, okay, so let's do that again. I think that worked out alright. Not brilliant, but I think it worked out alright. Let's do that again. Get a bit more paint on there and then brush it off. That's a lot. Cool, blimey. Okay, let's hit the front. I'm going to go with the stomach because I think the stomach will be the safest place to start. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to go lighter. I don't think that there's going to be any question about that. And then we'll go up the face. I don't know that you're necessarily going to see a distinction. I mean, I can see slight differentiation, but I don't know that you'll necessarily see it on the camera. I think it is the right decision to make, though. You might even say that this is more brown than red, isn't it? To a large extent. It's a very dark red, I guess. Oh, I spotted you, fly. I want to spray you. Don't you worry. Don't you go nowhere, man. We're going to spray you very, very soon. You will die. My sister does not like flies. She's always got plenty of Raid and fly spray around the house. So, yeah. If I don't do it, she's going to. Right, that is alrightish. Yeah, I'm going to have to go lighter again for sure. That's definitely a must. I'll do this one more time on the belly. I think that's where I'm going to hit, maybe across the face, but definitely the belly. Alright, so belly, belly, up across the face and the mouth. Alright, so that means that next time I attack this thing, it's probably going to be ready for detail, and I don't expect that to take too long. I think we'll be alright. Okay, alright, so I'm going to definitely use the Rust Monster Orange to try to bring it out, because it's not really as defined as I would have liked. Give it a good shake. Oh, is that a hair? No, it isn't. Or it is, or it's stuck in there. It's one of those. Okay, well this is an interesting development. Let's turn that over. We won't need that there. That's good. And then just on the edge, the brush like so. And then I'll just brush off. And I'll attack the back first, just in case there's too much there. I think we're all right though. Okay, let's just give it a light stroke and see what happens. Is that too light? No, it's doing something. I might have to just do it a couple of times, that's all. Did I take too much paint off the brush? I think the problem is that it's actually just drying so fast. Spitfire, how's it going? Myth, how's it going? Hey dude, I'm so glad your channel is picking up. Great from a long-term time fan. Thank you. Yeah, look, so what has happened is that the channel has started to pick up. I made the fatal mistake of trying to make shorts, okay? And for either I don't know how to make good shorts, or it's just not the right format for my channel, whatever it is. And then I was also stupid enough to hide all my live streams, which I think was a mistake. There are some live streams that have got 44,000 views. So, yeah, I'm going to put it down to listening to the wrong people. But yeah, no more hiding stuff. I just need to accept that content is going to be different and appeal to different people. Alright, so yeah, now that I've understood that, you know. And also too, a lot of my edited stuff, I used to edit directly on YouTube, some of the live streams, but the running time, you might have noticed, if any of you have watched some of them, you might have noticed that the running time on some of my edited videos is much longer than the actual running time. That's because YouTube is using the running time of the original live stream. So if the live stream was an hour and it's actually been cut down to 10 minutes, you'd have no idea until you watch the video. And that has really caused some problems. I can tell you now, it has been one of my biggest frustrations. And there's not a lot I can do about it. I will talk to them and see if they can make it work, but I feel like that's been done kind of deliberately. Yeah. Conspiracy theory stuff. That's right. Conspiracy theory. All right. Shake it. I'm going to do that again. And it's better. I really want to hit the face and the front, some key areas, and then I'll be happy with today's progress. And then it's off to the beach time. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go under a tree and read a book. I am still reading, would you believe it, I'm still reading Art and Arcana, which is the history of Dungeons and Dragons. It's sort of like a pictorial rundown of how it all came about. So yes, it's taken me a while, but I am getting there. It's just taking much longer than I expected. Okay, that is better. Kind of happy with that. I'm not going to do that everywhere though. I think it's a bad idea, so we're going to do in the front. I don't really want a bright red Slaad as such, so we're not doing that, for those of you who are wondering. Key areas, and then back of the hand. And am I happy with that? Well, it's not brilliant. Not a problem, Spitfire. I totally understand, man. If you got to go, you got to go. Alright, so I think that is good enough. I feel like that is going to be good enough for today. Alright, that means I am going to head off. Now, if it rains, you'll probably wind up with me doing one of these at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on the same day. Otherwise, if it's a fine day, I'm going to the beach and it's only going to be at 10 a.m. here in New Zealand. And that'll probably be pretty much every day till I go back to work. For those of you who are wondering, how much am I going to do? How much painting am I going to get up to? I'm going to get up to as much painting as I possibly can, because it's always good for my mindset. So that's, I don't need to bring it too close. So that's really what we got. We got it red. We'll do the detail tomorrow and clean it up, get the face sorted out, eyes, teeth, talons, and little spots and splotches and things like that. But other than that, hey, thank you to everybody who showed up. I know this is a weird sort of thing to do, but it's how I do things. What do I need to do all the other things I normally do? Like, thanks for watching. If you want to support me, I have Patreon, I have Amazon affiliate links, I have the merchandise shelf. You can watch my videos, it's probably better because it's a long thing. And then what else is there is the YouTube things. Share, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. And I go live every week, and right now I'm doing a lot of live stuff. And then, hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. I think that's pretty much where we finish off and say, that's good enough. Come back, do some more some other time. Oh, Kathy. Nice to, look, I did see your comment. I was just busy. I did see you. I did spot it. I saw it. I'll see you later, Kathy.